When I meet with clients, the first question I ask them is, what's your biggest asset? A lot of them say, oh, my house, or, oh, my 401k. It's like, no, your biggest asset is your income earning ability.
When I talk to a lot of other entrepreneurs now, they're like, man, I don't have time to watch TV. Man, I don't got time to play games. Man, I don't got time to do this. I don't got time to do that. And I'm like, well, what do you have time for?
And a lot of business owners say, like, I don't have time for that. I like to push back a little bit. Do you own a business or do you own a job? It sounds like you don't have the systems in place that you need to be able to live the life that you really want to live. My goal definitely is just to really educate as many families as possible. While I was working 3 months where I was technically homeless, I have no choice. I burnt the bridges. I left my job. I don't have time to be a pretend entrepreneur in Grand Theft Auto. Now I have to make it in this world.
Hey guys, we realize a lot of you are coming to the page and enjoying the content, but we see a lot of you still aren't subscribed. And so if you could click that subscribe button, it'll help our channel grow and give you more episodes with a lot of amazing individuals. Welcome back to another episode of Attractive Mindset. And listen, today's guest, I'm gonna let him tell you a little bit more about himself because he was actually in the educational space and he left that after not just a little bit of time, after over a decade of experience within the Broward district, within the schooling district, and he left that to actually go into financial planning. And so I'm gonna let him tell you a little bit more about himself. We got Jonathan in the building.
How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. Yes, that is true. I was a Broward educator for 15 years, originally from South Florida, grew up down here. So, yeah, it was a big jump. People thought I was a little crazy for it, but, I'm sure we'll get into it later, but I pretty much had a realization about last year that, the path that I was on, although it was very fulfilling and rewarding for myself, wasn't really what my purpose is. And I felt that my purpose was to really educate others about finances.
Okay.
And the importance of wealth building for as a family man in general. And the school system, not to knock the amazing people that work in it still. A lot of my friends are still educators. But the system is not designed for that purpose.
Facts.
So it was very difficult waking up for work every day, knowing that the agenda that I'm working towards is not exactly the agenda that I felt that I was put here for. And it just, the job itself was awesome. It really fulfills like the ego part of yourself.
Yeah.
You go to a grocery store, that's assistant principal so-and-so. Parents know you, community members know you.
Yeah.
When you tell people what you do, they say, oh, wow, that's amazing. They're impressed by it. But there was something that was missing internal. So I always go back to that Steve Harvey, like I think it was on Family Feud when he said it, when the whole just you got to jump. And like you just don't know what happens until you got to really jump. And I was always 1 foot in, 1 foot out since day one. I was always trying other businesses, trying side hustles, or I'm gonna do this business part time.
You ever did like network marketing?
I've done multiple times. I've done network marketing.
Okay.
And I think that network marketing, it's funny you bring that up. I think that everybody should try that at some point in their life.
100%. I agree. 100%.
Everybody should try network marketing at some point in your life because it'll teach you about who you are.
Yeah, and it'll build you. It'll build the structure that you have to stand on to understand the basics of business.
Yeah, it gives you the structure without having to build all the systems.
Correct.
So you get the feeling of owning without building systems.
Correct.
And until you learn how to build systems, you'll never really be a real business owner.
Oh yeah, this is my type of combo.
Yeah. So, So I was always 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and I'm not sure what rapper said it. Might have been Benny the Butcher, but it was like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. That's how you lose a leg.
That's
so
deep.
It's like
I gotta look that bar up
right.
now.
I don't know who said it. I think it was Benny. But when 1 foot in, 1 foot out, that's how you lose a leg. It's because you can't serve two masters.
Facts.
So you can't have your personal agenda and the company agenda. So even my former principal, he actually called that out at me like 3 years ago.
Wow.
He was like, "Hey, listen, man, you're very intelligent. You could be anything you want in this district." He's like, "But you got to make a decision. Are you an entrepreneur or a company man?" And at first I was offended by it, but really it's because he saw what I had been hiding the whole time.
Yeah.
Trying to suppress, and I couldn't suppress it. So, hey, if you like what you're hearing, check out the link in the bio. As a financial planner, I help families, high-income earners, and business owners protect their wealth, grow their wealth, and protect who matters most in their life.
Even with understanding the dynamic of the world today, which plays a big part in that, because when, we grew up, it's a different type of time versus, now I just even discovered the name of this group, Gen Alpha. Before, because you used to hear the millennials, the Gen X, the Gen Z, but Gen Alpha is actually a thing right now.
The AI babies.
That's 12 to 15. Yeah. And so I'm a statistics guy. And so I'm always looking up different analytics, different stuff, because, I've been building businesses since my first LLC was 2009.
Okay.
And so I've been doing it for a little while. And I've seen how the game has changed over time, just consistently. And what I've learned over time is to not build things that I want, but build things that the biggest part of the population is gearing towards or needs. And so with Gen Alpha, the statistic right now, and this is going to be a gem for you guys if you listen to this part, is 32% of them, when asked what they want to be when they grow up.
Streamer.
YouTuber.
Yeah.
YouTubers,
yes.
Yeah. And then ironically though, 20% goes to being a nurse or a doctor. And this is what I've always said. Go to school if you want to do that kind of profession, because school is great for that. You have to learn the basics, the
right.
Whatever when it comes to those kind of professions, you absolutely need high school, college, all of that stuff. But when you want to kind of set the pace for what life is going to be like for yourself, I don't really believe in school from that standpoint, and that's because they don't teach you how to do it yourself. They teach you how to join a company and be part of that.
Right. It's funny because I have so many mixed emotions. So I'm a very educated person, in and outside of formal institutions. Right. Okay. So, my mom was a teacher. My last day of high school, I said I would never be a teacher. And then I ended up teaching 4 years later, after college. But different scenario. I mean, it's so tough because you don't need school. However, a lot of people do need school. But school is not going to guarantee anything for 100%. And so some people, we need employees for our economy to work. And I think there are more people who think that they are entrepreneurs than they really are.
Yeah.
And then there's some people who are, and they're fighting trying to not be it because of the fear. Like for me, it was a fear thing. It was just, I've gone through financial ups and downs my whole life, starting from childhood. I've seen, now that I'm in the space I'm in now, it's all a blessing. But I understood what God was preparing me for.
Facts.
So, like to tell you a little backstory. My father was from Georgia, Waycross, Georgia, small town in Georgia. Okay. My mom's from Detroit. Okay. They met in Miami in the 80s. Okay. So my dad went to Vietnam. He was drafted. When he got drafted by the Army, he immediately went and volunteered for the Air Force. Very smart. Better than being in the air than being on the front lines. Yep. So I think that was a good decision. Then he got into a career in aviation. My mom came down, and my mom was the type of person, she was trying to get out of Detroit. She graduated high school at 16, graduated Eastern Michigan at 19, was a full-time teacher in Dade County schools before she was 20 years old.
Sheesh.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy, right?
So she wanted to do that.
She wanted to do it. She was all about kids, education.
Were her parents teachers and stuff?
She had an aunt that was an educator. Okay. So they met in Miami. My grandmother, my dad's mom lived in Overtown. Spent a lot of time there with my sister, back when Overtown was not Wynwood.
Yeah.
So, a lot of, so it's like I've seen, going to grandma's house, man, we were eating Jell-O for lunch and a mayonnaise sandwich. Going back home to my house in Kendall, I'm eating I'm eating chicken breast and broccoli from my mom.
Mhm.
My mom was like a big health nut before health was a thing.
Mm.
I would go to family barbecues in Detroit, and they would try to give me ribs and chicken wings. I didn't know what it was.
Mm.
Like I never had it. Like I didn't know what it was. It was funny. So they're like, "What are you doing? How are you raising this boy?" Like,
Yeah.
you know. So, but my mom was just all about, no, he's gonna eat carrots because carrots are good for your vision, and this is good for this, and peas are good for this part of the organ. Like the stuff you see, like Dr. Sebi talking about, and all, like that was my childhood for my mom.
What was her? How do you say it? Like class or profession in teaching?
It's funny. She was a elementary teacher, and then I watched her as a young child. I was like 3 or 4 years old. I remember her going to get her master's in computer science.
Got it.
And so this is like 1990, 1989.
Okay.
Getting her master's in computer science, which because she had the vision that she was like the Steve Jobs. It's crazy. She believed that every household should have a computer when nobody believed that. So I grew up learning how to code on DOS at 4 years old.
Sheesh.
Yeah, exactly. She believed in me being dual lingual. So I grew up when my babysitter we called her mi abuela. She was a Cuban lady, lived in the neighborhood. She didn't speak a lick of English. I grew up speaking Spanish fluently.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
that's a good skill to have.
Right. So when I go to elementary school, they're like, "Why are you speaking Spanish? Stop doing that." So I lost a little bit of it, but I still understand a lot. I surprise people. They're shocked at how much I do know.
Yeah.
But that was like my childhood. So I saw like both worlds. You know, my dad, my grandma's side with my uncle, who was, you know, in the street. I mean, I remember there's times we had to go find my uncle. He was in the alley, passed out. We had to pick him up, bring him back on the west side of Miami, clean him up. You know, then before you know it, he's back outside.
What's like your ethnicity?
Black. I'm just
black.
American black.
No Caribbean?
No Caribbean. A lot of people think I have like Jamaican or Bahamian, but I don't have any to my knowledge, you know.
Okay.
But yeah, so just seeing, it's like, okay, I see how hard my parents work. They both had 2 jobs. So both my parents had 2 jobs growing up. So I saw like that work ethic, and when a household works together in a marriage, how you can really stack up money and improve your situation very quickly.
Facts.
You know, my dad worked 2 jobs. He was overnight. He was an aviation mechanic. He was a sky cap during the morning shift. So his aviation mechanic check went straight to the bank. We lived off his sky cap tips. My mom worked at Birdines and then also was a teacher. So her teacher check straight to the bank, lived off the Birdines money. So like now their salaries are just going to just pay down house. They end up buying a house in Davie, in Southwest Ranches, right by Weston, like in 90. This was like 94, 95 when there was nothing up there. I mean, it was just woods. And I was like, where are we going? Like, we're leaving Miami to go up to here. Like, there's nothing, you know, at the time, there's nothing but white people.
It's nice now, though.
Oh, it's beautiful now. Like, it's crazy because the house they bought for like $200,000 is worth over a couple million now. Until you really understand like the visionary that my parents had, but then the sad side is you understand where the lack of financial planning can cripple a family. So right when we get to the house, 1996, my mom gets diagnosed with breast cancer.
Oh, damn.
The same year, I don't know if you remember the ValueJet that crashed in the Everglades. Okay, this is 96. We had a plane crash in the Everglades. My dad's company was the company responsible for servicing that plane.
Oh, wow.
So I'm watching my dad on court TV, and while my mom's homesick with breast cancer, and they just bought a big new house.
Damn.
So now it's like you realize that when I meet with clients, the first question I ask them is, what's your biggest asset? A lot of them say, oh, my house, or, oh, my 401k. It's like, no, your biggest asset is your income earning ability. Because if you take away your ability to earn money, that drastically changes the outlook of your future.
100%.
If I take away your ability to earn money from now to the day you die, what do you do now?
Facts.
So, and it's like, you know, nobody thinks of becoming disabled. They think of dying. Nobody thinks about disability insurance. You're 25% likely to have a disability incident in your life.
Wait, there's something called disability insurance?
Yeah. Other people call it paycheck protection. So like if you have a job, right? Like most companies, right? So most companies will give you a benefit package. Most people see the benefit package. Oh, cool, I got benefits. If I get disabled, I'm good. If I die, they give me some life insurance. I got some medical, I got some dental, I'm good. So now when, you get a call from whoever, whatever company, financial planner, you might say, oh no, my company takes care of me. So like, if you don't know how to educate past that objection, a lot of people just turn around, okay, cool, you work for this place, oh, you got good benefits, you're good. Okay, that's awesome, but like, have you really looked at it? Most companies give you 60% disability insurance. Okay, but here's the thing about that. It doesn't kick in until 3 months of being disabled. So do you have 3 months of savings? We know most Americans are paycheck to paycheck.
Facts.
Okay, so if you don't have 3 months of savings, you're already cooked.
Yeah.
All right, so then now when it does kick in, it's 60%. So right now, if I told you you're going to keep going to work, but you're going to make 40% less money, would you still be able to pay your bills? Right. Now, what happens when you get disabled? Your medical expenses have just gone up. You're going to doctors and stuff, so you're paying down that premium and all that. So if I add medical issues on top of being disabled, can you even afford that? No. So why do companies really give it? It incentivizes you to go back to work.
Yeah.
Because I can't live off 60%, so I got to go back to work.
Damn.
So what do people do? They go back to work before they're necessarily ready for it medically, and they end up in this loop of working themselves to the bone.
So
then disability insurance
crazy.
Covers that gap. And it's not even expensive. But now you covered that gap. So if you were to ever become disabled for a short period of time, long period of time, you're covered at 100% of your income.
Now, how does that work for like entrepreneurship? Right.
So that's why everything is different. There's no one fits all model.
Yeah.
There's no like, okay, do this and you're good. No, it's individual. And that's when I started understanding that. That's why I got into what I got into, because how you set up an entrepreneur is different from how you set up somebody with a 9-to-5. It's different how you set up an elderly person or a person with kids or a married couple. Everybody's situation is different.
Yeah.
So it would be like saying you go to the doctor and you say, hey, doc, I don't feel good. And he's like, all right, here, just take this pill. He didn't even diagnose you. You didn't ask any questions. He didn't run any tests. He just gave you a pill. That's what happens when people just give financial advice. So when I look at Instagram and I just see people just talking about finances, it's just like it's cringy now with what I know now, because you're giving out blanket advice without knowing who your audience may be. And then people, because they're an influencer, will say, oh, that sounds really cool, I want to do that. Like, that's not for you though. So, and when you're in the financial industry, there's a lot of regulation of what we can say.
Facts.
We cannot give financial advice. Like right now, I can't just say, hey guys, if you want to become a millionaire, do this, this, and this. I can't publicly just say that, because I could be misleading somebody. Somebody could do it. It doesn't work for them, for the situation. And then now they're suing my company. So that's why it's like, hey, I'd have to sit down with you one-on-one. We'd have to look at it. Your situation is different. So I think in general, when you look at like our community, especially, there's just a mistrust when you look at the history of like banks and like financial institutions. I see that a lot in Caribbean cultures as well.
Yep.
So I don't judge anybody for not having the financial knowledge or literacy, because it's not taught in schools.
Facts.
And so it's like, where would you get it if you never went with a planner? Me, I didn't even know, because I met with a guy who I thought was a financial planner, but he was an investment banker. So my first year teaching, I was like, hey, I want to get things squared away. He's like, hey, listen, my minimum is $100,000 to invest. So in my mind, I thought if I don't have $100,000 cash, I can't meet with a financial advisor. That's not true at all. But that's what I thought from that one experience. And so it just led me to realize, like, we are is our beliefs.
How much does somebody usually need to meet with a financial advisor?
Nothing.
Zero.
Nothing. There's no charge for the meeting. So you sit down, we look at your situation, we make recommendations. But as a fiduciary representative, I can sell a product from any company. I can broker a product from, I work for Northwestern Mutual, but I can broker another company's product. It's outside business. You can still do that. So it's about what's best for the client.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I want to go back a little bit to touch on when you were explaining the different steps of planning, because this is important, especially for our community. Like, when you see movies, they love to make movies where we are the, don't be a menace, the, menace to society, the boys in the hood, all of that kind of stuff, which there is that side.
Right.
But there are the side that, just like you said, like, yo, they work 2 jobs, great jobs. They're funding their life with one and then putting all the rest of the money away with the other. But the same difference still happens, which is you don't know what you don't know, and you can't plan for what you don't know.
You don't know, yeah.
And so even though you're going on the right way, things can still happen. People think that life is just sweet, and it's really not. And, even something like COVID happening, that took a lot of people by surprise and took a lot of people out certain things and different things. And so, I really wanted to highlight that because that's important. Like, you explained a situation where 2 extremely stable individuals met hardship that they didn't expect.
Nobody could have guessed that. No, nobody. It would have been impossible to guess that. How those 2 things happen at the same time?
Mm-hmm.
So now there's no income coming in. And so, yeah, like going back to those times is crazy because luckily my mom did enough things that like she planned things in a way to where she passed in 2000. She planned things based on what life insurance she did have, what savings she did have, to where there'd be enough for me to. She had planned for me until graduation, and me and my dad to be good until graduation. My dad ended up getting a job at Walmart. He didn't. They won their lawsuit anyway, by the way, but the company moved to Chicago. So his whole thing was this: like, my mom was sick. I was young. I was very involved with sports. Believe it or not, I grew up actually playing hockey.
Okay.
Even though I went to college for football. That's a whole other story too. My mom wouldn't let me play football, and I understand why. Because if I have a son, I probably wouldn't let him either. But
there's a lot of injuries associated with football.
It's deeper than that for me. It's the mindset. We'll get to that too.
Okay.
But so they didn't go to Chicago because her doctors are here. My support system was here. So he ended up getting a job at Walmart. And people are like, why would you do that when you have like the ability to do this and that? But the most important thing for him was to be present. And so his father wasn't present. So my dad's goal was just to be a present father, which he was. He never missed a game, a practice, a school event, taking me to school. His whole life kind of structured about making sure I was straight. So he worked at Walmart. My mom passed. We didn't have a lot of money. Obviously, he's working a minimum wage job. But I was going to school in Weston at Cypress Bay High School. So now it's like, I've seen both sides. Like, I'm going to school with a lot of well-off kids who don't even know my situation because I didn't really talk about it. So luckily I had a principal that, Mr. Neely, he was supportive, close to my family. And he was the guy that made sure that I did not take the traditional boys in the hood path you see of a kid who's gone through some trauma, who's angry at the world, who decides to just crash out. That's what I wanted to do. Between him and my dad, they didn't let me. That wasn't even an option. Like, my dad would leave for work. I'd double back, go back home, try to go hang out with my boys in Hollywood that I knew from like hockey and stuff like that and friends like that. And, he'd come by in his pickup truck and pick me up and bring me back to school.
Wow.
Right. To the point where I'm like, no, you're not going nowhere. Like, so that was the type of relationship we had. And I'm thankful for it. And then, I wanted to go play football at Dillard. My dad's like, no, you're staying in Cypress Bay. I'm like, because I felt, at first I felt like I feel like an outsider here.
Yeah.
But that experience was the best experience for me personally. Because now as an adult, like when you see things like in the media that, white people hate black people, all police are racist, and there's a level of I can't subscribe to it because I didn't have that experience. So although those things exist, police brutality is real. Racism is real. Injustice is real. It happens. When those things happen, we should speak up. We should do something. It is wrong. But to make blanket statements about groups of people, some of my best friends are white kids that I grew up with in Weston. I cannot say that. And I cannot say that. They've done for me so much. Like, that right there is why we have conversations like this. Right. You know, that's why the name of this podcast is Attractive Mindset. Because, you know, I'm a, whatever they want to call it, media conspiracy theorist listening, right? You know, whatever. But I gather factual things. And the factuality of it is the news is lying to you. The media is lying to you majority of the time, you know, and they're not doing it from a moral standpoint because it was never made to be moral. And so people just expect the news to tell the truth. Why? Yeah. They're an entertainment channel. Right. They're not, you know, they might add truthful statements in there, things that have truth to it, but it's not their goal to tell you the entire truth. You know, you can go on the news the other day. I think the most recent thing that was happening was, I think the riots or something in California, and the newscasters out there with like the gear on and stuff and whatever. And it was like a clip somebody had caught from their phone before they actually went on air, and they're standing there with the gear, and he shows that side of the camera, and then he just turns the camera to like the other side and nothing's happening. And then you see the actual clip because somebody made an edit of it. It's like, it's crazy out here right now. People are losing their minds and people are going crazy and doing this and that. And the amount of people that will see that and eat that up is ridiculous. It's like the hurricane storm chasers. They're not in the eye of the storm. You know what I'm saying? That'd be crazy. Why would you do that? You know what I'm saying? And it's just so much, especially in a world of AI. AI is honestly getting scary right now because there's a few times where I'm like, damn. You know, I was like, well, hold on. I was like, damn, I might be getting a little older because I used to laugh at like my grandparents and aunts and uncles and stuff when they would get caught with little things. Like, it's like, obviously little that's phone fake. Scams and stuff like that. Obviously that's fake, you know, whatever. But I see a video and I'll be like, damn, that's kind of crazy. Like, what is this person going through? And then I'll go to the comments and they'll be like, oh, AI is getting crazy. AI is whatever. And I was like, oh, this is AI? I was like, I didn't even know that. I'm like, damn, they was about to jam me up. Yes, but that is real. You know, I say all of that to say, like, representation from the side of dealing with both sides is not enough. You know, we have things and situations where Black Wall Street did happen. Right. Tulsa, Oklahoma did happen. Right. And guess what? Things that enacted in it happening worse the first time had to do with white people. Right. But what most people don't know is we also rebuilt Black Wall Street. And we also rebuilt Tulsa, Oklahoma. And the second time, we were the problem that made it not get to where it should be. It's so funny you say that because as soon as you said that, that's what I thought. I'm like, I wonder if he's going to go into talking about, but we rebuilt it. Yeah. But that story's not in the book. At all. Because it doesn't play into the narrative. At all. You know, like it doesn't play into the narrative that, yeah, but that happened and then we rebuilt it. Yeah. And then we had other financial districts throughout the South. It wasn't just Tulsa. Yep. You know, look at Atlanta today. Like, look, so like, if anything, that created more. Man, that's amazing you said that because my grandma always used to tell me this. My grandma was born in the 1920s. She grew through the Depression and all that. She would always talk about how she's like things are actually better during segregation in Tampa than they are now. And I'm like, wait, what do you mean, Grandma? She's like, but like redlining and this and that. She's like, yeah, all that stuff happened. But she's like, see, when I was a kid, every father, my neighborhood, every man built their house for their family. They knew how to build it from scratch. And then all my uncles and all my dad's brothers, and they all had businesses. My uncle had a dry cleaning business. This one had a laundromat. This one had a restaurant. Segregation forced everybody to be a business owner for their own community, right? Yeah. So, you know, when W.B. Du Bois even talks about this, like, the point of going to college is really to like learn the skills to build the systems to grow your family business. Yeah. Like you go to college, you go to get that MBA so that you can come back and take that laundromat that is a mom and pop shop to make it a franchise.
Facts.
That's the whole point of it. And we got lost in the sauce of materialism, and including myself. You know, I as a school board employee, like I remember the second I went from teacher to assistant principal, I didn't invest more, I spent more. Because I enjoyed the lifestyle of making six figures.
Yeah.
It's like I arrived. So now I can drive a Benz. I can wear nice suits. I can go to steakhouses when I want to. And before I knew it, I'm like, damn, I have the same amount left over as I did 50K ago.
Damn.
How did that happen? And I'm like, and I realized my spending was just ridiculously out of control because I could afford to.
Yeah.
But I really couldn't afford to because I'm falling into the same trap that I witnessed growing up of not really thinking about worst case scenarios. It's crazy how you say you'll never be in a situation, but then you put yourself back in that situation. And then we do that a lot because, I mean, all we really are is a total of our life experiences and beliefs. Our beliefs are our life experiences.
100%.
Until you experience other things, you don't really...
Facts.
So, although I went to, a school with a lot of... We weren't talking about money. We weren't saying like, hey, so what'd your dad do? Like, I knew, okay, like, your dad's a surgeon, your dad's a lawyer, your dad this. But we're not sitting down talking about financial literacy. We're playing Madden. We're outside playing football. We're at the pool. We're not. So even though I grew up around a lot of families that are my friends that are financially literate, and I can tell you can just tell just whether the conversations we have now, I thought I knew, but I didn't realize what I didn't know until I really started studying. And I would say this was about a year and a half ago. I remember my dad, he got sick. He passed away last summer. And I remember he left a note in his Bible. It said, a good man reads Proverbs daily. I didn't realize how much of a student of the Bible my dad was. My dad was like old school. So he was like, your butt need to get in church. And that's it. Like, that's all he told me.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I was just going out of compliance as a kid. I didn't want to get in trouble. I wanted to be able to go out on the weekend. So I'm sitting there just chilling. But I didn't realize that he was really behind the scenes. Like, I didn't realize how much prayer he was doing. I didn't realize how much he was really studying. Because when you look at the way he lived his life, he did a lot of providing without making a lot of money. I never missed a meal growing up, even though my dad only worked at Walmart. I never didn't have an opportunity that my friends wanted to do. Like if I wanted to play football, I had football cleats. Like we didn't have money, but for some reason I had everything I needed. I never thought about that. Like, so he's doing something financially right, but he didn't talk about it.
You making my eyes water, man.
I didn't even realize it until he passed.
Damn.
I'm like, a good man reads Proverbs daily. All right, bet.
That
so,
line hit, just I didn't realize how much providing he was doing, and we didn't have it.
We didn't, yeah. Like, I remember to this day, like my senior year, we get an eviction notice. We had a house in Pines. I got an eviction notice. I was so mad at him. I was like, bro, Dad, if you're struggling, why don't you let me know? Like, I can get money and help out. He didn't want me doing that. Nah, you focus on your education. He's like, I'm not paying for no college. He told me straight up, you better get a scholarship, you're going to the military. But he got to figure it out at 18. Yeah. All right, bet. So that's how football came into the thing. We had that conversation when I was in 8th grade. It's like, well, I'm going to play football. Cause I just logically knew. I played hockey in middle school, travel hockey and stuff. I was probably better at that than football, honestly. Okay. But I just saw the numbers made more sense to play football.
No, of course.
Yeah, I'll play football, Florida, whatever. I'll figure it out. So I walk out first day of practice, funny as hell. I didn't go to any summer conditioning, weightlifting, none of that. I walk out in a pair of Timberlands and fat FUBU, Fat Albert jeans and a wife beater to walk out to practice. Coach's like, where have you been all summer? I just looked at him like, I know nothing about organized football. Yeah. And I just walked out there and said, I just want to hit somebody. So, all right. They gave me number 64, a duck face mask, big pads that didn't fit me. I was smaller than I was about 170, 180 pounds in 9th grade. So, and it's like, what do you play? It's like, I play running back. They like laugh, whatever. I'm like third string running back for like a week. I'm just sitting on the sideline, like not playing. I'm like, man, this isn't it. I want to play. Coach, where can I play? So they like joke like, oh, you want to play right guard? Okay, play right guard. So I'm like, we ran like a waggle we ran like a 28 sweep. So I'm pulling, I pull, I run, like whoever the linebacker was, I just like cleaned them out. They were like, listen, you will never stand in 2-point stance again, son. He came and put like every pride sticker on my helmet. he put the whole sheet, slapped it on my helmet. You're playing right guard. It's like, all right, cool. I go home. My dad, I'm starting now. My dad played running back in college. So he's like, oh, that's what's up. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm playing right guard. He's looking like, oh, he looked at me like, what is wrong with, like, he looked at me like, but he didn't say anything. He said, oh, okay, son. But you could tell he was like, why would you do that? Like, that's not what you do. You take the third string route and you earn your way up.
Yeah.
But I was like, no, I want to hit somebody. I didn't come here to stand around. Like, so my mindset was funny. So my freshman year, I played O-line. I ended up playing defensive end and linebacker after that. But it was just funny. Like, I just wanted, and at the time when I realized what I was doing, I just wanted to take out my anger about my mom dying. I didn't care about football. I just wanted to hit people. Yeah. And then it turned into me understanding what that could become. But the whole providing without knowing about it, like I didn't realize it, but he just let me be with like, it's almost like he was like, I had total freedom, but like within like a sphere of like his control, not even realizing it. Like he let me just make my own decisions, but he was always there as a safety net. I didn't realize it. So that day, my senior year, I remember we get the eviction notice, going back to that. I remember it's a rainy day. Lady comes. Are you John Edwards? We have Mom Jonathan. He's John. So I'm like, yeah. So she serves it to me. So I'm like, what's this? She walks away. Eviction notice from the sheriff. So in my mind, I'm mad at him. I'm thinking, wait, you're not paying the bills? Like, I'm not thinking he doesn't make enough to pay the mortgage on the house in Pembroke Pines. Like, he's doing what he can with leftover life insurance money, whatever. But so I'm like, Dad, where are we moving to? Where are we going? He's like, oh, I don't know. So I just like packed my stuff for school, went to school, like slept in my car one day. Like I go to practice, sleep in the car, wake up, take a shower in the morning, weight room, go to class. Like I did that like for like a day. So I was mad. I didn't know what I was gonna do. Like I'm like, so then I talked with my teammates. Say, yo, what's up? He said, hey, if you want, you crash with me. Like I didn't tell anybody at school. I didn't even sign up for free and reduced lunch.
Wow. Like
I was like, nah, I'll make the money on my own and pay for lunch. I don't want a handout. It's crazy how that mindset then, because I definitely qualified for free lunch. And I just said I don't want it. Because I just remember my grandma like talking about the Great Depression and, living back in Tampa in the 30s. And, she put that mindset of like, you can get it, you can figure it out. Yeah. Like you don't need a handout. Because she explained to me what happened when they built the projects in Tampa. She was like, I remember when they built the projects, they were beautiful, beautiful high rises. And they would come and they were offering everybody like 5 times the value of their house. Buy the house. People were like, hell yeah, I'll cash out, move to this nice building, sell you this property that we built.
Damn.
And you're going to be 5 times its value? So you had a bunch of land-owning people move into the projects. And that's how that happened. If you think about it, you go back to history. Slavery. We didn't live in the major cities. We lived in the suburbs because we were working the farms. How did we get in the inner city? We got in inner city through that swap.
They put us there.
We went.
They directed us.
Like, yes, I'm not taking like it was definitely a scheme to it. But think about it. At the time, I go back to financial literacy. Is selling your paid off house for 5 times the value worth it to go live in the apartment building? Not knowing what we know now, that was a trick. Yeah. But at the time, that's more money you've ever seen. Yeah. So they held out like to the end with my grandma's house, and they ended up buying another house in another suburb in Tampa. My grandma's family, mom never went, but the rest of them did. And then she was like, and then once they were all there, the building started deteriorating as far as they stopped maintaining it. And if you look at old documentaries in Overtown, you'll see the same thing where you had a lot of landowners who owned these apartments downtown, and they just weren't servicing them. And like nothing was being done about it. Damn. People were complaining and nothing was happening. So if you really look at our history, you got like the Dorseys and like the different families that were big real estate families that were black and that were building a lot of houses for black people. And like we essentially fell into this whole concept of living in the projects. But it's like not our nature. So when you look at like, when I look at hip hop and when I look at how like we say for the culture, like that's not our actual culture. That's a new phenomenon of the last 60 years. Go back 60 more years from that. You walk around Miami back when my dad first moved to Miami, which is probably the late 60s. You see black men downtown walk around in suits. We had our own black police station. The museum's still down there in Overtown. So when you say our culture is running around in hoodies and shiesties, that's not our culture. That's not our culture. Our culture is entrepreneurship. That's our real nature because that's what we had to do post-slavery.
You know, and even with you saying something like that, I can't remember his name exactly. I think it starts with something, J something, and his wife's name is like Ernestina or something. Morrison.
Yeah.
You know, that black people, the black community in general is fighting misinformation, fighting lack of information, and then fighting fraudulent information. And so it's like, you know, we don't have much of a direction to go if not led by somebody who has somewhat of your best interest in mind.
Right. And that's hard to find nowadays because times are not easy. You know, we have a lot of nice things in our society, but people are hurting financially. Not just black people, all people. There are a lot of people who are struggling right now.
Yeah, the economy is not the greatest right now.
So, but in all economies, there's always opportunity.
Always.
And that's where, once again, I'm sitting at school. I'm reading Proverbs like like that note told me in the Bible. And the one verse that got stuck in my head was, a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. It was like, good man leaves an inheritance. It said a good man. So I'm like, okay. Like, that's a very strong statement to make.
Yeah.
Like, is that a requirement of a good man? Are you not a good, like, I'm starting asking questions. Like, so God, am I not a good man if I don't focus on that? And then it's like, I started like asking, like, why do I enjoy my job? Is it for me or is it for my kid? Is it my daughter that's benefiting from this, or is it for me? And then that verse I would always go back to it and just kept reading and meditating on it. And then you remember that Dame Dash DJ Envy interview? Yeah. When he was just like, that's selfish of you. Yeah. It's like I heard Dame Dash's voice saying you're selfish. And I'm like, damn, I'm actually the fruits I enjoy from my job is really out of selfishness. Because, you go on the website, you see Boy Dancer website, you see my name on the front, and everybody calls me boss when I walk around, and like subconsciously you realize, am I doing it for the community? Am I doing it for me? And yes, a lot of it was for the community. Like I wholeheartedly believe in quality public education is necessary. But there are times where I just felt like I wasn't able to give quality because of what the initiative is. And so and a lot of educators feel that way. They don't publicly talk about it because they have to put meat on the table too. Yeah. So like you really get stuck in this position of, damn, like, do I do what I feel like is right, or do I do the right thing by keeping my job so I can provide for my family? You go through that struggle, like which one's right? They're both right. But then for me, it was, my dad passed away. I was that same, divorced now. I only have my daughter. So it got to the point where I'm like, in a way, losing my mom young, losing my grandmother, losing my father, not having a relationship with my family. We feuded over my grandmother's estate. That was another part of the financial planning experience I learned, estate planning, and what happens with eldercare. My grandma didn't trust her children. Because when my mom got sick, they went and like changed my grandfather's will and like wrote her out of it. Like, oh, she's gonna die anyway, and like took her proceeds from like when he passed in the house in Detroit and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, grimy. So my grandma said, "Don't worry about it. I'm gonna take care of your son. Don't worry about it, Joanne." She was mad. You got to fight a disease. I'll take care of Jonathan. So my grandma like made me like her son almost when my mom passed, and then my grandmother when I turned 18 made me power of attorney of her estate. You know, and she didn't have a crazy amount of money, but she had a paid off house in Tampa that she bought for $28,000 that was worth about $300,000. You know, big capital gain right there.
Hell yeah.
And then, you know, a couple accounts with like $100,000 in it. So for me starting my career, it would have been very significant to have that as a base for my new family. Being able to buy a house, not have to like pay a mortgage, but have a house, like that's huge. And they were just jealous. They were jealous. They felt like I was babied. They felt like I didn't deserve it. They felt like they endured so much BS with her growing up, and she's not this innocent person that you say she is now. And we just had a great relationship, but because we bonded over, you know, she had a very traumatic summer. The summer my mom died, her husband died, my grandfather. He died. I'm sorry.
You're an only child with your parents?
I have a sister.
Okay.
With my dad. My dad
Okay.
Different. So
Got it.
I have a half sister in DC. We're very cool. So I had my great grandmother. So my grandmother's mom died in that May.
Wow. 4
weeks later, my mom died, her youngest daughter. 2 weeks after that, her husband dies, my grandfather.
Damn.
One summer, trifecta, boom. Everybody, the three close people to her mom, her husband, her daughter. So my grandma was depressed. So I'm 13 years old talking my grandma out of suicide on the phone.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why our relationship was like that. So they were jealous of my relationship, but it's like, dog, y'all weren't even checking on her when she was alone in that house. That was me going to Tampa back and forth. My dad, and before I was 16, it was my dad. That's not even his mom. That's his mother-in-law. My dad is driving me up there, flying me up there back and forth all the time. She's flying down all the time. So when you think about like providing, like, although that's not monetary, he took his time. So if he would have been working, making money in Chicago doing this, I wouldn't have had that relationship. Yeah. So you see where like, I started understanding how much more valuable time really is than dollars sometimes. So like that situation showed me about estate planning. Because when she passed, that was so much hell going. I had a 1-year-old daughter. I'm going back and forth. I'm trying to take care of her estate and trying to do this. They banded together, got lawyers against me. I'm like, you know what? Y'all, it's your mom. Y'all take it. I'm young. I got time on y'all. Y'all are older. Do what y'all got to do. If you want to cut me out of your life, take the money. I don't care. I got time. The fact that you're 60 and that angry still at your mom, you're 70, still calling your mom out of her name, calling a 90-year-old woman a bitch and shit like that. That's crazy to me. Yeah. How you could like talk to your mom like that. I wish I had my mom. You're over here cussing your 90-year-old. You should be grateful you had a mom till 90. Damn. So I was like, you know what? Y'all do what y'all want to do. So that's it.
You weren't even involved in it.
I let it go.
Damn.
I could have took it to court. I could have won. I had the records. I had I was missing out time with my 1-year-old daughter. I'm missing work. I'm doing like, I got a family to raise. It is what it is. I really believed I was going to make it back. I was like, I'll make it back. $300,000, $400,000, I'll get that, whatever. And I just let it go. So then that's kind of why I'm not really connected with anybody in my family except my half sister. I don't talk to anybody in my family. So when my dad dying and all that, what I realized, this is about January, I said, you know, I'm actually free. There's not anybody on earth's opinion I actually care about. That's a blessing. So now I can really jump and really could care less what anybody says about it. Yeah. Because my only obligation is my daughter. So I'm like, as long as she's straight, I'm good.
You know?
So like at that point, I was like, let me go try to do the most I can now. Fearlessly. Not even fearlessly. Doing it scared.
When you said that word, you know, free, I'm truly free now. A while ago, I've had two distinct conversations with homeless individuals. One was a very long time ago. I don't even remember his name. And one was more recent where he dealt with both me and Dan. And, you know, the first one, what was I doing? I was going around wearing a reindeer onesie, giving out candy canes or something. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, because I was doing Uber.
Mm.
And I was like, I'm not really close with my family like that either. And so I was like, I'ma just bring joy to whoever's outside, vibing.
Right.
But the part of my mindset in doing that was I didn't care. And so there's this one homeless guy that he was always on Sunrise, always, chilling, doing his thing, whatever. And I'm like, yo, somebody, because it was the holidays, just gave me a $50 tip.
Mm.
And so I was like, yo, let's, cool, I'm with it. Let's go get some lunch.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, you want to go get lunch with me? And I was like, yeah, cool, let's go get some lunch.
Okay.
We went, he hops in the car, I turned the little thing off, we go get some lunch. And I was like, back then I wasn't as aware of things as I am now. And, I asked him, I was like, what do you think about people, when they don't give you like money and stuff or whatever? And he's like, he paused. And he's just like, why do you assume I care? And that hit me so hard because we sit there thinking of the world from a complete different perspective. Like, how can they stand outside and do this and do that and do whatever and do this? And it'd be hot, it'd be raining, it'd be all kind of different things. He has a cart and a tent and all of that kind of stuff where he sets up all of that. But, I had, and I'll be honest, at that time, I was kind of dehumanizing these people.
Right.
Because I see them on different drugs and alcohol and,
right.
They're just in a deteriorated rate of living. And so I naturally had a feeling like, okay, where it's a in between of feeling bad / slightly disgusted / how do you even get here? Right. And he said, I wanted to be here. Yeah. He said, I did a lot of things. He said, I have degrees. He said, I'm very smart. He said, by you having a conversation with me, I'm sure you can tell I'm very smart. He said, but there's a certain amount of loss that I dealt with in life. There's a certain amount of restriction that I dealt with in life. And I had a chance to get it back twice. The first time I took the chance, it didn't do it for me again. And the second time I just let it go. And he said, now I've been more free than I've ever been ever.
Yeah.
And that was 2017. I feel like I was at a state of almost rock bottom because I just got out the psych ward not too long ago because I went to the Marine Corps. And so I went on deployment, came out, just dealing with stuff. I had a fiance at the time. We broke up because I wasn't mentally ready for that.
Right.
Went through all of that stuff. Went into debt crazy. Got into it with Navy Fed originally, which I'm still dealing with now. And then I had just got into a house that I just moved out of actually. And yeah, life was just not lifing for me. And I felt like, yo, how can I be getting disability? How can I be having a good life and not having a good life at the same time? Like how the fuck is it so hard right now? Like how is lifing on this kind of level? And I'm just thinking about things that I gotta pay, that I gotta come up with, that I gotta figure out a way to do and process and whatever. Right. And here's this black man says, yeah, sure, I may not know what I'm gonna get when I'm gonna get it. He said, but you start to learn people. He said, you start to learn body language. He said, you start to observe surroundings. And he says, I know which cars are usually going to give me something by looking at them. He's like, I know what people might do something or not. And he said, it's really not even just the fancy cars. He said, it's definitely not the fancy cars. It's not those type of people. And he was like, I get what I need. I don't get what I want. And that one hit me because I'm like, damn. He says, every day, he says, I eat something. He said, it may not be what I want. It may not be that Philly cheesesteak that I see homie eating in his car going crazy, and I can't afford that. He said, but I get what I need to get to the next day, every single day. And so that's why that, providing when you don't know how you're going to provide hit so hard because of that. And then the second homeless person that we met, his name is Randolph Shiflett. Called him Raw. And I dealt with that in a different type of way because now we're at a more elevated state of business, this and that. Like I bought him a cell phone. Me and my girl took him to the office place to get his ID card back and stuff, like all type of everything. Dan giving him rides, I'm giving him rides, all of that. And he wasn't ready. We scared him off, if anything, because he was so used to being outside. The thought of becoming a regular human being again, he couldn't possibly do it. His mom had killed his dad because his dad was doing malicious things. So his mom went to jail. That was how he grew up. So he grew up in the streets, went into the jail system himself for about 10 to 15 years and then came out and couldn't assimilate back into society. Ended up homeless, ended up back on the streets. But
I understand that.
We had brought the podcast already. And so we brought him into our old building and, he's sitting there taking notes, listening to people's stories, and he's enjoying it. But then he started getting scared because we were genuinely helping this man. Like we were setting him up for job interviews, setting him up to get free housing, setting him up to do all of this. And he's like, whoa. Like I didn't have to deal with this.
Yeah.
And now that I got to deal with this again, I don't know. And so the word free to me, when it comes to entrepreneurship, when it comes to building things, because, Dan can attest to this. When I was doing coaching, when I was doing all of these things, like closing 20K deals, I made 20K in a day, less than that, doing different stuff. Like I was making serious money. And I stopped doing that as much because I felt selfish. I was like, I don't feel like I'm genuinely helping these people. And a lot of the people, one of them halfway works here right now still, pay me $6,000 that he don't have. $6,000 that he don't have and didn't do anything with it. And somebody who I had looked up to, who I no longer look up to, he was like, what's the problem? I said, what do you mean, what's the problem? I said, I'm taking their money. And he was like, yeah, but that's not your fault. That's their fault. They got to deal with that. And I'm like, bro.
It's funny you say that, right? Because it's like, it's not your fault, but you're aware. And then are you influencing them to do it with your persuasion when you have the conversation?
100%.
So
it's easy to detach. Like, well,
me. I didn't give him
exactly.
But it's like,
and I tell people all the time, you usually know when you meet really good people. I say, at the end of the day, God doesn't play about me. There's a lot of people over time that have tried to do so many different things to me, even as recent as yesterday. You know what I'm saying? And something always happens miraculously that takes us to where we need to go. If we need money, we get the money. If we need to build something, we build it. If we need to do something, we do it. Hence, we've been around. I've been working with Dan for 8 years.
Wow.
8 years. And I was doing it when we first started off without credit. 0 credit. And fortunate to say on paper over the years, we've made millions. And for me, the thought process of that is, because I'm a stats guy, okay, cool, I can go on SBA.gov and see as of 2023, and they have the 2024 numbers, I just don't know them, but I'm sure it's not that different. The average black man in America only makes $44,500.
Yeah.
And so you have somebody where I did grow up on that side of the fence, but I learned different stuff. And for me to make that amount a month, double that a month, sometimes, and then you doing that in a year, it didn't sit right with me as far as, well, I can make all the money I want and go buy a Rolex or get the exotic cars and do this and do that and do whatever. And I found true peace and passion in letting a lot of that part of me go and creating attractive mindset to where, okay, cool, we'll give a free class every month, twice a month sometimes. Like sometimes I'll be coaching people for free, because I enjoy doing it, and putting things out there to the community, working with different brands. Like we shot National Black Farmers Association, we shot 100 Black Men of America, 100 Black Kids of America, or OBC. We shot them for years. Like adding to that collective. I used to work with Toyota before. I used to do all of these other businesses that were more corporate oriented, that were not necessarily community driven. And I took a big pay cut. I took a huge pay cut. But in that pay cut, I started to understand the word free that the first guy that I had the conversation with, and it felt that way because I was like, I don't want to be on his level. So I don't want to be that free. Right. Yeah, I'm not trying to do that, but I'm also still trying to be free on my own terms. When I talk to a lot of other entrepreneurs now, they're like, man, I don't have time to watch TV. Man, I don't got time to play games. Man, I don't got time to do this. I don't got time to do that. And I'm like, well, what do you have time for? What do you really want to do? And I thought about, what do I genuinely like in my life? I like anime.
Okay.
I like video games.
So then you make time for it.
And that's what I wanted to do. And it took me a big pay cut, but I said, cool, my take home can still be 10 to 15K a month. Yeah, it's not anything dramatic as to what it was before, but I can play games and watch anime all day.
It's funny because when we do financial planning with people, we actually ask them that, like, okay, what do you like to do? There's no. It's like you plan around it. It's like when a lot of business owners say, like, I don't have time for that. I like to push back a little bit and say, well, do you own a business or do you own a job? Because it sounds like you don't have the systems in place that you need to be able to live the life that you really want to live.
100%.
Because it's hard to give certain control, certain aspects.
100%.
And in general, so you want to control everything. So it sounds like you own your job. So if you really are passionate about rock climbing 3 times a year, then book that in your calendar first, schedule your business around it, and build systems that support that real passion. And and that's kind of how we plan. What do you really care about? Well, me and my family got to go to Disney every summer. Okay, cool. How much does that cost? Okay, so if you know that that's something you're going to spend discretionary, reverse engineer how you get to that. Yeah. And I'm glad that you had the wisdom to see that, because
it's the need. I started focusing on the needs, and I made that a need for me. Yeah. To where, like, okay, what keeps me the most at peace? And, I just moved in with my lady, and even now, like, her lifestyle gives me anxiety because I watch her wake up, hate it, go to work 6 a.m., come back 5. She has a second job, so she goes and does gigs and all that kind of stuff. And my friend was like, "Yo, because he lives with a female, he's been living with her for a while. He's like, man, it's gonna be a big change, this and that." And I was like, "I don't think it will be." I said, because we live 2 different lives, and I was correct. I said she's rarely home. I said she doesn't even get time to enjoy what we just got. On the same level. I watch her come back tired, and I hate it for her. And the altruistic side of you will try to get her to be an entrepreneur. And that's what I was trying to do at first. Right. At first. And I had to come to terms with myself to respect her boundaries. And I said, okay, cool. When she's tired, she will do it. I can't force her to be something that she doesn't want to be right now.
My ex-wife, when I think she saw the stress of me being assistant principal before we separated, was like really bothering me. And she made a comment, and it could have been because of the tone she used, that it wasn't received well. But it was like, oh, you should like leave that, right? But it came across like, it came across like it wasn't in my best interest.
Yeah.
Just like how the comment when my principal said, you got to decide if you want to be a company man or an entrepreneur. When he said it, it didn't come across as in my best interest. And that's when you got to think about, like, sometimes God will use people to give you a message. So it may not be how you want to hear it, but it's the message that was for you.
Facts.
You know, if you start seeing the same message coming, like you said, it's not when you want her to, it's when she sees it.
Facts.
She'll see it at some point if it's for her to see.
Facts.
And you might have to say nothing about it. Someone else might tell her, you know.
100%.
But that was me. You know, I was working, doing real estate, going to school, doing this, selling suits, doing custom suits, I'm just hustling how I got to get, you know, not knowing that, you know, there's other ways that are more efficient to make that same amount of money. You're just not thinking about it, you know.
100%. And, you know, even with this conversation, like, you know, this has been one of my favorite conversations of season 3 so far, of probably all the seasons so far. It's definitely in a top 3, top 5 conversation. And we have over 200 episodes live.
Oh, wow.
Live,
yeah.
You know, in person. And we didn't even talk about money.
No,
and that's what I tell people all the time. Like,
there's
not
a lot
about
we didn't get into.
The money.
No.
It's about the individual. And it's about what kind of information that individual possesses up top. Because I knew nothing about you. We didn't talk before this.
Not at all.
We didn't have a convo. I didn't look you up on Instagram.
It was a text. Hey, show up here at 11:30.
You know what I'm saying?
All right, cool.
and that's why I keep this authentic. I don't do a bunch of questions. I don't have, you know, authentic conversations with people, because you get to know the person across from you. And you get to understand a different side of that individual versus, you know, when we go to networking events now, and that's why I don't even like them that much. It's so surface level, because people are trying to sell you on shit. They're going to tell you all the things they want you to hear and know about them, learn about them, whatever. But they're you know, they're not getting into these kind of stories. And even when this podcast wasn't making money, it's the one that I always bring up. There was a listener, because right now our listener base is pretty big, spread across the platforms, and she's from Portugal.
Okay.
And she sent me an email with a picture in it. And she said, hey, you know, I have my own business, and watching this podcast episode, I was about to quit. I was about to shut it down. I was about to do this and that, blah, blah, blah. And hearing that man's story and how he didn't quit, and then he got extreme success right after. And this is a month after she watched the episode. She said, I didn't close it down. And in my next 2 weeks, I have some of the biggest weeks that I've had so far. And I'm actually getting ready to get into another partnership with somebody else, do this and that. And she said, I just wanted to say thank you, because this information was free. You didn't necessarily teach me anything like financial or anything, but I got to understand that I'm not alone. And in me understanding I'm not alone, she said, man, if you're ever in Portugal, and this is the picture that she said, she's holding 2 cups of coffee. She said, I don't know if you like coffee, but coffee's on me. And that one specifically, we've gotten a few different messages, but that one specifically, I felt it. And I'm like, man. And it was on an episode that only had like 20 views, 25 views. And to me, I'm like, you never know who's watching, because it was earlier on too. And I'm like, we just changed that person's life.
So it's funny you said it's like, I think it was Daniel G, sales guy. I was on Instagram and I was like, don't get mad about 25 views. 25 views. Imagine you're in a room with 25 people. That's significant.
Yeah.
25 people in this room right now, if you had a meeting, that's significant.
Yeah.
400 views, that's significant. 1,000 views, you're ready to do stand up on the stage and give seminars. Yeah. So I think we downplay, and especially me, you know, I made my first YouTube channel in 2015. And like I was always this whole perfectionist. Oh, it's not perfect, and I'd stop it and do a video and stop. And I'm like, imagine if I just never gave up and just kept making videos from 2015 to now. You know what I'm saying? Like the 10 years of making videos compounded, that's going to do something.
100%.
And, you know, it's just funny, like the story you told, like, you know, even the homelessness. Like homelessness is not what everybody looks at. Like in Broward schools right now, I know for a fact there are homeless employees. They may not ever say it. You might not ever know, but I saw homeless families, kids that were homeless that you would never know are homeless.
Wow.
You know, we do have a housing issue in this county. The prices are crazy. They're getting better now.
Yeah.
They're dropping, but the wages don't match the prices.
Yeah.
Even myself, I went through essentially while I was working 3 months where I was technically homeless.
Wow.
Going to work every day. Now me is because I was putting, I was doing the other businesses. You said your first LLC. You said it was whatever. I've probably made over 9 different LLCs. I didn't fail, whatever. Try it again, do this. But I ended up getting sued. And I lost, so I had to do. They did a wage garnishment because I didn't have the money. So now I'm getting wages garnished for 6 months, but I still got to go to work. So like child support comes out, wage garnishment comes out. Like there's nothing left over. And I just signed my lease in my apartment.
Damn. I'm
like, damn. Like, hey, can you cancel that? No, sorry. You got to pay I'm like, I don't have that to pay. I'm like, all right, cool. So like I bled out my savings, just paying rent to stay as long as I could and trying to make it throughout the year, doing side hustling. And it got to the point where it's like end of the road because I'm not getting my salary right now. But I'm still going to work every day.
Yeah.
So I'm like, damn, I don't want my daughter to feel it. So on the weekends that my daughter, I'd like take her to a hotel. We're going on like a little mini vacation, but really it's because, like we can't go home because there ain't no home right now.
Wow.
So then, and also I was doing music. So I built like a home studio similar to this in my living room, where I was recording music and stuff. Put all my music equipment in storage, whatever. About $15K worth of music equipment. And my storage unit got broken into. All my equipment got stolen. Like it was like compounding, like lawsuit, this equipment being like that was a source of income that was gone now.
Damn.
So I'll charge people to record, and then
yeah.
So I'm just like it kept getting hit with just damn. I'm sitting here like I went back to reflecting on and I never told anybody this too. Like nobody in my circle knew that I was going through this. Like I was going to work like it was nothing. I would just nobody. And like there's an Instagrammer. He's famous now. He actually records this content. Like he has a job. He has 2 jobs and he lives in his car. And he's recording. He's like, I was so in debt that I decided like I'm just gonna live out of my car for a year and go and get out of debt. So like he chose to do it to get free from the burden of being in debt. Yeah. And that was kind of like my situation. I was just paying down debt and just like, you know what, I'm gonna come out of this better. Like a part of me kind of enjoyed it. It was kind of weird. Once the fear was gone, I was like, well, I'm paying down debt.
Because you realize fear is just trying to please other people.
Right. Like who I stopped, whatever. I don't care. Like, and I just embraced it and I was able to pay down a significant amount of debt. And get in a better space. And it's crazy because I think there's more anxiety on the other side of the fence than it is on the failure side. Like to me, I wasn't anxious when my paycheck was getting garnished and I only had a couple $100 in the bank. I'm sitting there like, all right, cool. I got $300. All right, all right, I can eat this today, that tomorrow, pay for gas, do that. She gave me to the next check where I get another $300. And like, but for some reason, when there's $7,000 in the bank account, there's like anxiety about mismanaging it. And like, it's funny because you got to like tap in, like, why do you feel that way? It's like, because you don't have systems in place to manage the money properly, or you're not seeking financial advice, or you're not learning. Like, so like that homeless guy saying he feels free, I can understand that. And the one that you were trying to set up, and he was like, no, I don't want that because now it's like you took the gift of somebody getting you back on your feet. Now what happens if you fuck it up now? Like, how are you going to feel about yourself now? Yeah. I'd rather just not take the handout. I'd rather it's cool. Like, I think a lot of people just have that learned helplessness right now, whereas they just accepted fate for what it is because they don't, when they say like people fear success more than they feel failure, like I've seen that in my own life now.
No, facts.
And I think the success is scarier than, because what if you do get everything you asked for? Like, then what?
Then what? Yeah.
Like,
and that's the 2 biggest definitions,
I get it.
Or they make fear acronyms sometimes. And most people here, 95% of people here, the face everything and rise, or forget everything and run. But there's actually a third one. And that's Damn, it just left my head. That's facing everyone around you realizations.
Oh, I never heard that like that.
Exactly. Facing everyone around you's realizations. And once you do that, you'll understand that fear. And this is why some people can be so free on the internet. You'll look at somebody, or even those videos where they'll be wilding out, like throwing milk all over himself.
They don't
and
care.
screaming
Nobody
in
thinks.
the
They really don't care.
And that level of fear
Mm-hmm.
on what other people think about them is gone.
Yeah.
And they can literally do whatever they want to do or whatever they're trying to do. And that happens in business, life, family. So many people are crippled by what their family's going to think about them when they do certain things that they never even start. And they could be really good at something, or they can never get into something that they should be good at. Right.
Two of the most successful students I've ever had, Fernando and Alejandro, if you're listening, that's who they are. What made me so interested in those two young men, they're entrepreneurs, both of them. But like, they didn't want to go to college. And like, there's like a member of fear where he was like, I don't want to go to college. Like, I want to start my own business. And I remember like thinking like, dang, as a teacher, like, what do you tell a kid like that? Because like their parents want them to go to college. So like, and I remember I had a lot of students like that. They come to me with that question.
Yeah.
And that's tough because that fear of how families think and what they want to do that's a tough thing. And it's hard to advise somebody to go against their family.
Yeah.
So that's when it breaks down to like honor mother and father. Like, does honoring your parents really mean listening to them?
That's a bar right there.
Because I got to think about it. Some people have visions that are greater
Yeah.
than their parents' visions of them. So if your vision is greater than your parents' vision of you, are you dishonoring them by trying to achieve something that they couldn't fathom or that they were too afraid to do themselves?
That felt biblical. That felt biblical. You know what I'm saying?
Like, because, it's like, and those two kids were young men now. They probably had both. I was so young. I was teaching at 24. So like, they're like my little brothers. They saw me as a grown up. I was like, man, I'm still doing kid stuff too. I'm 24 years old, but they're in their late 20s, 30s, girlfriends, some getting married, stuff like that. But like, I see a lot of those young men that I taught when I was in teaching, and you see a lot of them that have like done things that inspire me now, which is crazy. And that's why I never take myself too serious as I get older, or I'm never unwilling to listen to the advice of somebody younger than me or older than me, because it's really about experiences, not age.
Yep. And
I always said this when I was a young administrator. I think I was 27 when I first became assistant principal. People would be like, oh, like, why would I listen to you? A teacher was like a 50-year-old veteran who taught me. Like, who am I to listen to you? And I would always say, hey, listen, look, you could have a 30-year career, or you could have a 1-year career 30 times. So if you're not developing, you don't have 30 years of experience. You have 1 year of experience 30 times.
Damn.
And then that would hit them. They'd be like, so which one are you that you're so unwilling to listen to my experiences?
Yeah, and that's a learning curve. I'm big on that. I can learn from other people's experiences without going through it myself.
Yeah, I don't want to go through a lot of this
if
stuff.
You tell me that fire is hot, I watch you touch it and your hand burns, I don't think I need to touch it.
I don't want to go through it all myself. Yeah. And one of my, so like going back to like how I really like, cause I told the whole right guy I was afraid of the fear of jumping. Once I got rid of the fear of what anybody thought of me, right? I just had to reverse engineer what that verse meant to me. A good man leaves a fortune, inheritance for his children. To say, okay, like what businesses do that? Okay, you have to create something. So like, what pays residually? Creations.
Yep.
Books, podcasts.
Yep.
Music, movies, tangible products. Like you create a phone, like something that keeps selling without you having to be a part of the process. Like a service industry requires constant delivery and customer service of the product.
Yeah.
So like
people.
So therapy or coaching, or those were the things I liked doing, but That wasn't. I had to like, okay, that's not it. I like creating, but to be honest, I used to be so self-conscious about creating. Like I wanted to do I've started a podcast, did 10 episodes and quit many times. Or, I made music. I used to, my first year doing it as AP, I made a song as a joke. The kids loved it, wanted me to perform it. I perform it in front of the whole gymnasium with the whole school. They love it. I continue making music, and then it's just like, that's not it. Like, it's cool, but I don't like that industry. Okay, cool. So like, I've always been trying creative things. What I realized I like making content. I like educating about economics. So I'm like financial planning. I'm like, okay, what do I have to do that? Like, started researching what that takes. Then like how they get compensated. Okay, that makes sense. I can, if I sell a product one time, then as long as you keep it, I can get residuals off of it, and I can always add more people. And then I'm also servicing people. So like it's the balance of like both worlds. Like I'm still teaching, still educating. I'm still doing that part that I like about education.
Doing it differently.
But I also have a form of making residual income doing a service.
You're time traveling.
There's not many people there's not many jobs that do both of those. And then you have the opportunity to grow your practice how you want to, as if it's your own business. But you're like one of the things that we say in our company is you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. Like, so I have the systems of a proven institution that's been around since the 1800s that has survived world wars, COVID pandemics, terrorism, all this, and they don't miss dividend payout. So you got this proven system, but you get to run your business how you want to run it. So like you get the best of both worlds. That's where we go back to network marketing. Why I'm not opposed to that, even though this isn't network marketing, but it has flavors of why people like that. So this is it. So this is the only thing that makes sense for all the criteria that really fit your personality, not necessarily what you want to do. Like I was trying to break into tech for like a year and a half because I had the skill set, but just because I have the skill set doesn't mean that's what is for you. Just like going back to football. Yeah. Just because you can play football doesn't mean that's really your purpose.
Yeah, facts.
Like you can use it as a tool, and I think sports are a great vehicle for transferable skills. So everything I learned in football relates to business, but you have to be able to step aside and learn how to transfer those skills from one thing to another without just becoming a product of the sport. And a lot of people just become a product of the sport. They only focus on football, and then they don't learn the other skills to sustain a real career in it. So when it's over, they don't know how to transfer the skills they learned. So I'm not against athletes. I think athletics is amazing. But if you have to have the transferable skills to be able to extract everything you learn from that and apply it somewhere else.
100%.
And what I don't like is when people like baby athletes and like don't make them do their homework or like no, because you're actually crippling them for their future.
Facts. They're not going to play that sport forever.
Right. So I'm not saying have one foot in, one foot out, but be able to transfer the skills when this season's over. At some point, being a financial planner, that season will be over for me. Don't know when, but it will be. So, like, what skills do I learn from this to transfer somewhere else? I think everybody in any career needs to have that understanding about what they do. The skills I learned in education prepared me for this, even though I may not have agreed with everything that business model does. It's undeniable that the skills I learned from being able to talk in front of a stage of 100 kids, 1,000 kids, 5,000 kids, parents, speak at a graduation, like those are things that can prepare you for being a public speaker one day.
Facts.
Or showing up on a podcast unannounced, or
Facts.
because I'm comfortable doing that. So I'm grateful for all those experiences.
I would define you as, and I just came up with this term, not the term itself, but this term used in this way the other day. You're a time traveler. I'm a time traveler.
I've never heard anybody say that. Explain that to me.
Nobody else has said it. I'm coining this for entrepreneurship.
I watch a lot of podcasts. Okay, explain that. What's a time traveler?
So a time traveler, because if you think about the definition, what does time mean to you?
Okay, so time is probably the most valuable asset or tool that you have, that you'll always want more of it. It's always in demand, but you're not in control of how much of it you get.
Why?
Because it only exactly exists now. the past is already the past. The future's not promised. So you only have moments. And they don't last forever. You can't really capture them. So it's like, yeah, I mean that's why you create. I think to think the whole point of creating is to capture great moments.
Yeah,
you can never get back.
And so that's a great response to that, you know. But what I want us to start thinking about more, you know, especially in the entrepreneurship field, is time is the essence of experience.
Essence of experience.
You know, and when it comes to the essence of experience, you know, what does time mean? Okay, if we define it as the essence of experience, because everything we do is on a clock.
Yeah.
We sleep, that's an experience. We wake up, that's an experience. We got to go to work, we got to pay bills, we watch TV show. Anything you do in your life, you're having many moments of experience.
Right.
And now you add traveling to that mix. Okay, what is the definition of traveling? Getting from one destination to the next. And so when you become a time traveler, you're creating the essence of experience in different destinations. And that doesn't tie you down to a job title. That doesn't tie you down to a specific industry. You know, what experience can I create with this individual or somebody else across from me? And so time traveling to me is, I feel like I've gained a masterful level of time in general. You know, the experience that I can create for myself or somebody else within an hour, that's what we pay for. We go to the movies. Right. Movies have a runtime for a reason. You're gaining that experience and judging if it's a great movie in an hour and a half.
Right, because it's almost like that hour you got to escape your reality.
Correct.
You almost value that experience more than the regular hour and a half of your
vacation.
Life. And that's why when some people say like, and it's funny because, I just thought something crazy. Okay, so once you become the true main character in your life, you start consuming less content. Because you're living what you want to live.
100%.
And wow, yeah, that is actually that's very actually accurate. So funny. Oh my God, wow. Time travel, that's very accurate. Because because if you think about it, when people have a goal, they consume what they want to become. You have to be before you become.
Yeah.
So you already have to think like it, act like it. So you're reading the books, you're watching the podcasts, you're doing that. Once you become that, what you were consuming, the experience of that is greater than consuming anything else.
Correct.
And that's how
time.
Right.
They say for you to be a master at anything, it takes you 10,000 hours.
Right.
And when you retire, they have an age limit. It takes how long to get there?
Right.
Time. You can't bypass that. And so when you start to time travel, you condense time.
Right. So like when you say like Rolls Royce and Ferrari and those luxury brands, they don't have commercials because our customers are not watching TV. That's not like an arrogant statement, really. It's because their customer base, those people who love driving cars, for real.
Yeah.
They're out on the track. They're at a car meet. They're at this. They're at that.
Yeah.
So them putting a commercial on, the guy that's driving a Ferrari is not sitting home watching TV.
Exactly.
Not because he's better than watching TV.
Yeah.
That's just not what they do.
100%.
So that makes sense. Like, it's funny. Grand Theft Auto is a great example, right? So my friends always joke at me, right? Whenever we hop on a video game, they always joke about me like, man, you're so like realistic, right? So like they'll play Call of Duty and I'm like, nah, the game's not real enough. I'd rather play this game because it's like a realistic shooter. Or it's like we're playing Grand Theft Auto and it's like, I'm not gonna run around just shooting people. That's dumb.
Yeah.
I'm trying to run this nightclub business, run the money up, dude. Like I'm trying to like, and then I realized it's because I wasn't doing all the things that I really wanted to do in real life. And once you start playing that game for real, like I don't have time to play the video game. Like I'm really doing that. Like once I don't have time to be a pretend entrepreneur in Grand Theft Auto. Yeah. Because like I'm really like I have no choice. I burnt the bridges. I left my job. There's no going back to it. Yeah. I left. Yeah. I resigned fully. Now I have to make it in this world.
Facts.
So once I did that and I one foot in, one foot out, it's not that I'm too good to play Grand Theft Auto with my homeboys.
Facts.
It's just that's not what consumes me.
Mm.
What consumes me now is, okay, like, I get home, I look at my daily metrics, I rehearse the conversations I have with people, and I look at where can I get better at. And like transferable skills, just like same thing. Like in sports, what do? You watch film. Businessmen watch film too.
Yep.
But their film is their numbers, their analytics.
Yep.
They watch their analytics. That's their scoreboard.
Mm-hmm.
In football, you watch film. That's your scoreboard.
Facts.
So it's all the same game we're playing, no matter what job title we have. And that's why it's funny because when you asked me how to introduce you, I was like, I don't even know. I don't. But that's time traveling.
And you're
because you don't have a title when I'm just playing the game now. Because I've realized at this point now, I don't really have. I'm just playing the game. I'm just trying to.
And you're even closer to time traveling than you think because you're in the actual category of being someone like a Rockefeller, being somebody like a Walton, being somebody like the McDonald's brothers, because they have transcended time through what they've built.
Right. And so so it's funny so that we didn't talk about money a lot. I'm not going to get into this now, but we got to have another conversation about that because once I understood fully how you can really build a legacy through whole permanent life insurance, it changed my whole mindset on just money, finances, legacy. Like, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And you just sit back and why not think of this earlier?
Mm-hmm.
And like, it's easy to understand why that billionaire drives a Camry still. Because who cares about that Camry? I'm trying to build a legacy. Like, that's not even the car. It's just like, if I didn't have to have a car, like now, I wish I didn't have to drive. I understand why people pay for a driver now. I used to think that was like a bougie thing. No. Because now I can read my emails, my time. So that when I have a busy day, I don't drive to Miami. My office is in Miami, downtown. I take the Bright Line.
Yep.
Because I can get on the Wi-Fi and I can read my emails and I can go over case notes. In that hour of being in 95, just angry. But now I don't even get angry at traffic anymore because I realize what a matrix activity that is. Like you're looking around and you just see thousands of people at the same, and then like zoom out. So you're telling me in every major city in America right now at this moment, there's millions of angry people honking their horns and cursing. Like what type of spiritual stuff? Like right? That's crazy. Yeah. Like when you think about zoom out and think about what that looks like at the same time.
Yeah.
From 7 in the morning to 10 in the morning, and then from 4 in the afternoon until 7 p.m., you have millions of people just angry and honking their horn.
Listen,
and I'm like, hey, listen, you know what I do? Why not just stay in the office another 2 hours and not bring work home? Like, so people will rush home and then still have to do more work at home and not be present with the family they just almost died in traffic getting to. You know what I do? Nah, man, I'm going to stay here till 7 o'clock, do everything I got to do. And then when I get home, I don't have to do anything. I'm present. Yeah. The bag stays in the trunk. Doesn't enter the home. It doesn't need to. Because did everything there. But they'll come home, bring the bag home. And luckily, my first year teaching, I got that advice. My first year teaching, I had a box of papers I was grading. I was walking home. It was Friday afternoon. And this one teacher, he drove a Corvette. Cool. I can't remember his name right now. He's like, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I got to grade these papers. You know, he goes, listen, man, I don't know what to tell you, but you see, I don't even carry a bag. I walk in here and hops in his Corvette, drives, comes home. If you haven't figured out how to get all that done in an 8-hour workday, you're not working smart enough. I don't know what to tell you. You shouldn't be bringing that home to your family. And when he told me that, I said, dang, he's right. So since my first year teaching, I always had that mindset of, that's why I had the time to work 2 jobs, or I had the time to do real estate after I was teaching and stuff like that, because I learned how to be efficient with the 8 hours. Yep. But yeah, you're right, man. Like
time travel,
time thing is real. Like, and time maxing and all that. Those are all real.
It's all part of time travel.
Yo, if you love what we're talking about and you want to change the situation and change your life, man, do me a favor. Click the link in the bio. I'm going to give you guys the secret sauce on how to leverage AI agents to follow up, save you time, and make you money. I'm going to show you guys my foreclosure secret strategy as well. Wholesaling real estate where you can run up a bag. And last but not least, man, I'm going to show you how to get it business funded where you can get you a multi-family asset, get some cash flow, change the situation, and get that financial freedom. Catch you guys next time, man. Click the link below. Spots are very, very limited. Let's go.
Yeah, being able to condense or extend time at your ability, at your will, is the highest form of mastery of life. Because every single thing we do as a human being right now revolves around time.
Everything, eating,
which is why
everything.
It's infinite.
Fast food, everything's about time.
Everything, everything, every single thing. But man, Jonathan,
crazy.
This conversation was amazing.
And I got something to take home and reflect now about that time traveling because now.
This convo was amazing, man. We definitely gotta have a part 2.
Yeah, we have to have a part 2 because it's just, I love organic conversations like this. I mean, and you just definitely inspired me to just like create more, post more. Like it's crazy that I will carry around a tripod and microphones every day and not record daily. It's like I have the equipment, but it's like I always not a good enough lighting. And what I realize is you'll always find an excuse not to do something. There's always a good excuse not to do something.
Facts.
There's always a good excuse.
Somebody taught me that legitimate excuses can be the reason you miss opportunities.
Yes. And I think that's what I think the lesson I learned today, and I thank you for having me as a guest, was to create more daily. Because I enjoy this. And there's no reason for me not to do it.
Facts.
But it's easier being the guest because it's not yours. You're not on the hook for it. You know what I'm saying? So,
this is your first pod?
This is my first time as a guest on it. Like this?
On the first, yeah.
Like sitting in a podcast. Like first time. I've done like stuff like only voice only and but this is my first sitting on a podcast.
Yeah, no, you did great. Make that content, man. And I know you'll do great because this conversation, like, trust me, sometimes people come on here 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Okay, cool. Hey, that was a great episode. Cool, we're out.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying? But the fact that we had organic conversation without even going on anything major is just, it speaks volumes to the type of person that you are.
Appreciate that, man.
And people are not only going to see this, hear it, want to find out more about you because people buy into you before they buy into whatever you're trying to sell.
Right.
And that's the number one thing I try to tell people all the time. Like when you come on here and again, because I've talked to over 200 people now like this. They come on here and some of them try to literally just sell. I'll try to talk about aspects of their life and they'll direct it right back to selling and, doing all of this. And they don't actually make sales. But some of the most episodes where we talk about them and they get to find out about them, those people hit me up. Hey, I found a code. Who do I reach out to? Or who do I say for this? Or hey, do they still have this promotion or whatever? Because people are finding out about you. Something that they can't do when they just go to your Instagram. Your Instagram looks like everybody else's, or maybe not like everybody else's.
It's your highlights of your life.
You know what I'm saying? They're seeing the good stuff.
Right.
But here they're learning about you, what you lost, what you won, how you got to where you are. And that's why we do this. But man, if people wanted to follow you, find out more about you, work with you, where could they do that at? So
the best place is, I have my Instagram. It's John Edwards, Jon Edwards, and like Nancy, Mary, NM. So it's like the Northwestern Mutual, NM. John Edwards, NM. That same handle for Twitter. I have a common name, Jonathan Edwards. So it's like on Facebook, a little harder, but it's the same thing, Jonathan Edwards. And LinkedIn, I'm on LinkedIn also. And I have my website. JonathanEdwards.nm.com. That's my business website.
Gotcha.
My phone number's on there, everything. You can send me a text. It should be a calendar link to book an appointment. So, I'm out there. My goal definitely is just to really educate as many families as possible, man. Like business owners, families, high earners, doesn't matter. Even if you're in debt and you don't have $1 to invest, I rather teach you what you need to do. So that one day you'll be ready. Hopefully you'll remember the person that invested in you a little bit.
Facts.
And I believe that will happen.
Facts.
The more community stuff I do, I love. Like the homeless guy said, may not get what I want, but I'll get what I need.
Facts.
So I feel like I'll get what I need to fulfill that proverb. It may not be what I want, or maybe more than what I want. James Winston just talked about that on an episode with what's some Channing Crowder and all them podcasts, the Pivot.
I don't know.
I think so. I'm not sure, but I saw a clip where he said, My goal was just to get to the NFL. I didn't expect God to bless me with 11 years. Sometimes you don't dream big enough. So sometimes I feel like you can get blessed way more than you can even think of too. So that's why it's just
Bars.
When I heard that, I'm like, that's so true because you never know
Yeah.
how that blessing's gonna come.
100%.
So it's better just to focus on how you can bless others and like trust that something you'll be taken care of.
Nah, facts.
Yeah, so that's me. I think I send it to my information to Brandon, but I'll send it to you also that way.
Okay.
You have it.
Hey,
Yeah.
there you have it. Man, this was an amazing episode. I'm your host, Moneybag Rich, and at the end of the day, we always say we look good, we live good. Talk to us, we talk back, and we are out.